Namostute Shiradike Namostute
Shiradike Namostute Shiradike Namostute Radike Namostute Radike Namostute
Shiradike Namostute Shiradike Namostute Shiradike Namostute Shiradike Namostute
Shiradike Namostute Shiradike Namostute Radike Namostute Shiradike Namostute
Jai Radhe Shirade Jai Radhe
Shirade
Jai Radhe Shirade
Jai Radhe Shirade
Monendra Vrinda Bandite Triloka Shoka Harini Prabhanas Vakka Pankajini Kunja Bhuvilasane
Monendra Vrinda Bandite Triloka Shoka Harini Prasana Vakta Pankaje Kunja Bhuvilasini
Brajendra Bhanu Nandani Brajendra Sunu Sangate Kada Karishyasi Hamam Kripa Kataksha Bhajanam
Sunu Sangate Kada Karishyasi Hamam Kripa Kataksha Jai
Ashoka Vriksha Valari Vitana Mandapastite Prabhala Bala Pala Bappa Brarunangi Komale
Ashoka Vriksha Valari Vitana Mandapastite Prabhala Valla Pallava Prabhurunagri Komale
Varabhayas Purat Kare Prabhuta Sampadalai Kada Karishyasi Hamam Kripa Kataksha Bhajanam
Purat Kare Prabhuta Sampadalaye Kada Karishyasi Hamam Kripa Kataksha Bhajanam
Ranga Mangala Prasanga Bangala Brahman Savibramam Sasambramam Griganta Vana Padhanaya Nirantaram Vasikrita Praditi Nanda Nandani Kada Karishyasi Hamam Kripa Kataksha Prajit Suvarna Champaka Prajita Gora Vigrahi Mukha Prabha Parasta Koti Saradiru Mandaleya Vichitra Chitra Sanchara Chakora Shavalochani Kada Karishyasi Hama Kripa Kadaksha Moratti giovane pramoda mandasindate Priyanuraga ranjite Kalavilasa pandite
प्रमोदमानमण्डिते प्रियानुरागरञ्जिते कलाविलासपण्डिते
अनन्यदन्य कुञ्जराज कामकेलि खोवरे कराकरिष्यसि हम कृपा कटाक्ष भाजनः
अनन्यधन्य कुञ्जराज्य कामकेलि कोविदे कदा करिष्यसि हम कृपा कटाक्ष भाजनः
Hare Krishna devotees, welcome to the ISKCON Richmond Saturday program. Let's wait for a few more minutes. Hopefully, His Grace Shankaran Prabhu will be joining shortly. Krishna devotees, Hare Krishna, Shankran Prabhuji. Please welcome to the ISKCON Richmond Saturday program. Hello from Jai Shri Prabhupada, Jai Guru Maharaj. So today, couple of unfortunately I could not join last Saturday. I missed Prabhuji's association and the class, and today unfortunately Divinam Prabhuji has a conflict. He has to go somewhere, so we'll be missing him as well. And I just wanted to take this service opportunity before we start the class. Just want to introduce His Grace Shankaran Prabhuji to all of you. Most of us know about Shankaran Prabhuji. Shankaran Prabhuji has been in ISKCON movement more than 3 decades. He is one of the senior disciples of His Holiness Radhanath Swami Maharaj. He has been serving in so many capacities and in temple management and spreading the movement, ISKCON movement, and participating in book distributions and leading the book distributions and giving the classes, lectures, is wonderful lectures, and across the nation or across the globe. And we are very fortunate to have His Grace Shankaran Prabhuji's session today. And today we will be having a special topic, Narsimha Leela. We'll be hearing it from his, this nectar from His Grace Shankaran Prabhuji. Shankaran Prabhuji, all yours. And if time permits, Prabhuji, just one humble request before you begin the class. One humble request, maybe a few words at the end of the class on the occasion of Sita Devi appearance day, Prabhuji.
Okay.
Thank you so much, Prabhuji.
ओमज्ञानतिमिरन्दस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूप कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकम्। वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरो श्रीयुतापदकमलं श्रीगुरुन् वैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपं साग्रजातं सहगना रघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनासहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधा कृष्णपादान् सहगना ललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितांश्च हे कृष्ण करुणा सिन्धो दीनबन्धो जगत्पते गोपेश गोपिका कान्ता राधा कान्ता नमोस्तुते। तप्त कांचन गौरांगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये। पंचाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्यैव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासदि गौर भक्तवृंद। हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। Hare Krishna. Thank you very much for giving me an opportunity, and also thankful to all the devotees from ISKCON Richmond for giving me an opportunity to, on this auspicious occasion, to serve the Vaishnavas. So I was requested to, this Thursday is the appearance day of Lord Narasimha Dev. Narasimha Chaturdashi. Requested to speak on that occasion. In the Bhagavad Gita, the Supreme Lord Shri Krishna says, Yada yada hi dharmasya glanir bhavati bharata. Says, whenever and wherever there is decline, adharmasya, when the adharma becomes dominant and the dharma is declined, dharma samstapana arthat sambhavami. I come to this world again and again to establish the principles of dharma. So the Supreme Lord appears in this world especially to annihilate the miscreants and to protect the Vaishnavas, to protect the devotees. Also, Srimad Bhagavatam explains, Ete chamsha kalapumsa Krishnastu Bhagwan Swayam Indrari Vyakulam Lokam Mrdayanti Yuge. The Supreme Lord comes to this world whenever Indrari Vyakulam Lokam, whenever the enemies of Indra are troubling this world, whenever the enemies of Indra become very powerful, then Krishna appears in this world. So, Krishna's appearance in this world is, of course, as Srila Prabhupada explains, is twofold. One is to protect the Vaishnavas, the devotees, and other two, annihilate the demons. However, Krishna can annihilate the demons simply by, his material energy. He doesn't have to personally come to this world. Yet the Lord comes to this world simply to give pleasure to his devotees. So, but at the same time, the Lord also does the twofold job. He also annihilates the demons. But the prime purpose of the Lord's appearance is to actually give pleasure to the Vaishnavas, to protect the devotees. Srimad Bhagavatam actually explains that this whole conversation between Narada Muni and Yudhishthira Maharaj in the 7th canto of Bhagavatam, which actually opens the beautiful narrations of the appearance of Lord Narasimhadev. And also in Narasimha Purana, one of the Upapuranas, 18 Upapuranas compiled by Vyasdev, there are beautiful descriptions of the same pastime. The details a little bit vary in both the places, but the prime focus is how the Lord so eagerly, so eager to protect his devotees, appears in this world. So, of course, I think yesterday was also the appearance of Sita Devi in the West Coast. Probably today is in the East Coast, the appearance of Sita Devi, the consort of Lord Ramachandra. So the Lord, whenever he appears, his energy, his Antaranga Shakti also appears with him. His parikars, his associates also appear with him. So here in this case of Lord Narasimhadev, his associate, Prahlad Maharaj, appeared before Lord Narasimhadev. Because the Lord comes to perform Leela. Leela means something that is meant for his pleasure. Actually, many times people quote this verse that we're discussing from Bhagavad Gita, that Krishna appears to kill the demons. No, but that is not something very significant. Of course, anything Krishna does is actually very significant, but that's not significant for Krishna. He doesn't come to this world for that. So primarily, the Supreme Lord, he comes to this world for his own happiness, his own pleasure, and the pleasure of his devotees. Because that's the nature of the Lord and the living entity as well. Anandamaya Abhyasa. We all by nature are pleasure seeking. The Lord is pleasure seeking, and we, his part and parcel, are also pleasure seeking. We always want to be happy. And so does the Lord. So when he comes to this world, the only people who can give him pleasure are his associates, his devotees. Just imagine, whenever we travel, we go to a distant place where we don't know anyone. Mostly people don't enjoy that. I mean, whenever you want to go for some pleasure trip, you want to take your family with you. Nobody goes, in general, nobody really goes on a pleasure trip alone. Right? So whenever you have some relatives or friend or family visiting from other places, then you plan a trip to go to, or you plan a trip to go to visit the relatives or friends. Because the pleasure trip means not alone. Nobody really enjoys alone. Enjoyment means you have your people, you have your family or your friends or relatives, then you enjoy. So similarly, when the Lord comes to this world, he also comes with his associates. It is described in Srimad Bhagavatam that the Lord appeared as Varahadev, and he killed the demon Hiranyaksha. Hiranyaksha and Hiranyakashipu, they are the two sons of Diti, the wild sons of Diti. They were such a nuisance to the whole creation. The glimpse of that we get from the description of Bhagavatam, as we'll be discussing, today's discussion, but they created so much disturbance and nuisance in the creation. So the Lord appeared as Varahadev and he killed Hiranyaksha, the younger twins. And Hiranyakashipu, the elder brother of Hiranyaksha, when he heard that Lord Vishnu had appeared in the form of a boar and he killed my brother, he became filled with rage. In fact, he started telling his associates, the demons, my dear demons, Vishnu is supposed to be neutral. He's supposed to be equal to everyone. That's what we hear from the scriptures. Krishna also says in Bhagavad Gita, Samoham sarva bhuteshu name dveshosti na priya. I'm equal to all. Nobody is dear to me and nobody is my enemy. So Hiranyakashipu told his friends and associates, Lord Vishnu is supposed to be equal, but being pleased by the demigods, he has given up his natural quality of being equal to demons and demigods. Just like a restless child, and he's given some candy or something, he leans towards the person who is, giving him candy. Like sometimes you can see in the family, sometimes, the parents in front of the child, they do some mock fight, So the mother is saying one thing, father is saying another thing. And they bring the child as the referee. Just for the sake of enjoyment, they bring child as the referee. Okay, you decide. So the mother gives him a candy. Okay, you see here. The child immediately takes the side of the mother. Or the father gives same thing, something similar, or he gives some bribe, some candy or something. The child leans toward the father. So Hiranyakashipu told similarly that just like a restless child, he's leaning towards demigod. Therefore, he has taken the form of a boar and killed my brother. Therefore, I will take revenge from Vishnu. With my trident, I will sever the head of Vishnu from his body, and with his profuse blood, I will offer tarpana. I'll offer tarpana to my brother, who was so much fond of drinking blood. So Hiranyakashipu foolishly thinking that Lord Vishnu also had the material body, like everyone in the material world has a material body. So when you cut the head of somebody, the profuse blood will come out. So Hiranyakashipu foolishly thought that Lord Vishnu also has material body. So when I cut off his head, profuse blood will come out of his body. Now, of course, we hear in the battlefield of Kurukshetra, when Krishna was driving the chariot of Arjuna, Bhishma Dev was shooting arrows at Krishna, and Krishna was having wounds from the arrows of Bhishma Dev, and he was actually using blood. So one may conclude that, so Krishna also has material body because he has blood. Or similarly, we read in the prayers of Bhishma Dev that when Krishna was running towards Bhishma with the chariot wheel on his hand, Krishna had perspiration on his head. But the appropriate words used are that Krishna manifested perspiration. Krishna can manifest whatever he likes, but that doesn't mean that he has a material body. So when Bhishma Dev is shooting arrows at Krishna and Krishna is manifesting blood on his body, it's only to give pleasure to Bhishma Dev. Because Bhishma Dev, in a very chivalrous mood, he's offering his devotion to Krishna in the and he's offering arrows to Krishna with the intention that Krishna will be wounded. That is his devotion to Krishna. So he wants to see Krishna wounded. So Krishna manifests the wound, the blood oozing from his body, simply for the pleasure of Bhishma Dev. So, similarly, one may conclude, that's what Hiranyakashipu concluded, that Vishnu had a material body. Then he started, instructing the demons that you all go and, make sure that, because demigods who are actually being protected by Vishnu, because of whom Vishnu killed my brother, start persecuting them. We cannot find Vishnu, but we can, uproot. Because Vishnu and all the demigods are offered yagyas. So you go to the earth and wherever people are performing yagya, destroy those yagyas. Destroy the hermitage of the brahmanas or persons. Set fire to their homes. Go and wherever there's a Kshatriya government, good Kshatriya government, dismantle that government. You see, this is how the demons actually create disruption. First and foremost, they want to do is they want to dismantle the good Kshatriya government. Now, if you see the history of the world, the recent history of the world, that's what British did. They went all over the world and they practically dismantled all the good Kshatriya government. Especially in India, the small territory, the small kings, they had small kingdoms. They were actually having gurukuls, and the Vedic culture was being prevalent. The worship of the demigods and worship of Lord Vishnu was going on. So that's what they did. They dismantled the Kshatriya government. They created this democracy, the Shudra government. But that's chaotic. Nobody really, in the name of secularism all over the world, they have created Shudra government. The government head who is actually devoid of any intelligence. Intelligence means you're talking about good spiritual intelligence. The dull-headed fools are, ascended to the leadership roles. So that's what Hiranyakashipu told. He told, destroy the Kshatriya governments. Destroy the bridges. Set the fire to the pasturing grounds. Pasturing ground means the grounds where the cows are actually grazing. Kill the cows. Kill the brahmanas. Uproot the trees which are full of life and nourishment, especially the fruit trees, auspicious fruit trees. Uproot those trees from the root. That's what you'll find. Most of the cities in this world, they don't have any fruit trees anymore. They have useless trees, especially here in California. We have redwood trees. It's considered a crime in California if you cut the redwood tree. You have to take permission from the government to cut the redwood tree. They protect the redwood tree. And redwood tree is one of the most useless trees. Doesn't have any fruit, no flowers. It's practically useless. And even the wood of the tree is so hard, you cannot even burn that wood. It's so difficult to even burn that wood. So practically a sinful and inauspicious tree, and that is protected. And if you plant the fruit-bearing trees, they'll say, oh, bees are coming, they're disturbing people, they'll cut the tree down. So this is what a demoniac government does. These are the ideas given in Bhagavatam. That's how demons actually come with the propaganda. So Hiranyakashipu ordered his followers, you go and destroy. Because when there are no auspicious trees, because we should know one thing, the trees, even auspicious trees around us, they bring auspicious consciousness. Because you see auspicious trees like the banana trees, the mango trees, the Indian gooseberry amla trees, or banyan trees, the neem trees. These are very auspicious trees, fig trees. So wherever these trees exist, it's actually very interesting. These trees have the profuse mentality of giving selfless service to others. They provide ample of life-nourishing fruits. So these trees, wherever they grow, they propagate similar consciousness among people. People develop similar consciousness. But when you cut down those trees, when you have only sinful trees, then the population also becomes naturally sinful. Because the birds of same feather flock together. So even the living entities of same mentalities nourish in the same place. And therefore you'll find the demoniac places, demons where they create the ruling, you will not find mostly auspicious trees. So these are the instructions of Hiranyakashipu. He instructed the demons in this way, and then he went to pacify. He went to pacify because his brother had died. He went to pacify his mother and the wife of his brother Hiranyaksha and the children of Hiranyaksha, his nephews. So he started instructing them. He started telling his mother and sister-in-law, especially Vrishabhanu. Vrishabhanu was the name of Hiranyaksha's wife. So he told Vrishabhanu that, and his mother Diti, that you should not lament over the death of a great hero like Hiranyaksha. Because in the Kshatriya conduct, the Kshatriya dying on the battlefield, fighting with his enemy, is immediately elevated to the heavenly planets. So know for sure, my dear mother, my dear sister-in-law, my dear nephews, that our brother has attained better destination. It's actually a reality. A Kshatriya, true Kshatriya who never shows his back on the battlefield, and dies on the battlefield, even defeated at the hands of the enemy, is actually immediately promoted to heavenly planets. That's a qualification. And then he started instructing that, that actually in this world, everyone gets together in a family life. Just like sometimes travelers, they get together in a restaurant, sit together and eat for a while or drink some water and then disperse. All of us, we have experience, right? When we drive here, and sometimes you go on the interstate, you're taking long journey, but sometimes you're driving from, Richmond to New Vrindavan or Richmond to New York, many hours journey. So on the way, sometimes you may stop by at a rest area to drink water or use restrooms. So you may see some people around there who also stopped in the same junction. And you may see them for a while, for 10, 15 minutes while you are, there in that exit. Or you may go to a restaurant on the way and you may see people sitting for half an hour around you. But once you leave that place and again continue your journey, there is absolutely no possibility that you will again see those people. So similarly, Hiranyakashipu, giving good wisdom to his family members that in the family life we come together and we disperse. Bhagavatam also gives another example of, just like a couple of examples, beautiful examples given, like sometime in the fall season, you see the leaves, they fall. And if the tree is on the bank of a river, the leaves fall in the river. So sometimes the two leaves or 3 or 4 leaves, they may fall together and they may continue flowing the river for some time together. But then we know by the current of the river, those leaves, they may flow together for a while, but by the flow of river, they are separated eventually. And once they are separated, what is the possibility that they will again come together? So similarly, in the river of time, we have been flowing. Just imagine in childhood, we had, in the primary school, we had some friends. In the middle school, we had some friends. In high school, we had some friends. Where are they? We have practically no access to them. But when we were there in the school, we were very much, playing with them, spending so much time with them, so much attached to them playing. But now we have no more access. Many of us, we are in the middle age. So in the childhood, we grew up with our brothers and sisters. But now we are separated from them. We were being nurtured by our parents, and many of us, we don't have our parents anymore around. So we are separated. And once we are separated, there is no possibility of again seeing them. Another example is given is sometime you see on the seashore, the two particles of sand, they're together. We generally don't pay attention to the two particles of the sand, but there are so much sand on the seashore. When you go on the beach, you may see, just focus on the two particles of the sand. They're together, but for how long? The waves are constantly coming in the ocean. And which wave will separate those two particles of sand, we don't know. And once those two particles of sand are separated by the wave of time, then there is no possibility that those two particles will again come together ever. This is the reality. So Hiranyakashipu is specifying with family members that just like in a restaurant or a place for drinking water, people come together and spend some few moments together and then disperse. But they continue to exist. You don't lament for a person whom you saw in the restaurant, he was sitting right next to your table, another table next to you. She was eating there. Or you don't lament for them, oh, they are dead and gone. No, they continue living somewhere else. So similarly, Hiranyakashipu started, instructing that it's only out of ignorance of the self, the real self, the soul, which is actually eternal. People lament in this world. And he started telling some anecdote that once there was the king of Ushinara. Ushinara is modern day Punjab. Punjab in the ancient time, Punjab was referred as Ushinara. So he said there was the king of Ushinara who on the battlefield, died at the hands of his enemies. So his body was lying on the dust, covered with the dust. And it appeared that at the time of dying, he wanted to show his heroism. So he had bitten his lips and he died in that condition because he wanted to show his chivalry. His lips remained in the bitten condition. And when he died, the queens of the king, they came. They started lamenting over the body of the king. Oh my Lord, you protected the kingdom and you protected all of us. But now you being dead, we all have been rendered without any protection. So they were, beating their chest and shedding tears at the feet of this king. And he was Suyagya, King Suyagya. So they were, crying at the dead body of King Suyagya. And people, generally when they die on the battlefield, the body has to be cremated on the same day. But when the people wanted to actually cremate the body of King Suyagya, the queens were not letting it go. They were holding the body. So we can imagine, it is very painful, when somebody dies in the family. At least you see the body, but the very thought that the body will be burned to ashes and you'll not be able to see the body also is so painful because our connection was with the body. The connection was with the soul, actually the spirit soul, but through the body. So we, foolishly, people who are ignorant, they don't want that medium to go, to be, gone. Although the medium, the body will not sustain for very long when the soul leaves the body. It will rot. It's only the presence of the soul that actually makes the body meaningful. Sripad Shankaracharya says, Now, Yavat pavano nivasati dehe, tavat pritchati kushalam gehe. Yadkati vayu dehapa, bharya bhivyati tasminka. Says, this body, as long as the life airs, that means as long as the soul is present in this body, life air means soul. Soul, as long as soul is there, the life airs are there in the body. Yavat pavano nivasati dehe, tavat pritchati kushalam gehe. People will come and ask you, are you all right? Tavat pritchati kushalam. Kushalam means, are you all right? Are you feeling fine? People will come and ask you as long as the soul is there in the body. But yadgati vayo diha, as soon as that soul leaves the body, bharya bhivyati tasmin kai. Even the wife is afraid of that body. The wife is always eager to be in secluded place with the husband. But once the soul leaves the body and you tell the wife you stay with the body overnight, she'll be afraid, she'll be fearful. So that the prime entity within the body is actually the spirit soul. That is meaningful. So they were crying on the dead body. And Yamaraj, their crying could be heard in the abode of Yamaraj. So Yamaraj actually came down because they were not letting the body to be burned, cremated. So Yamaraj disguised himself as a Brahmana boy, a very young boy, teenage boy, very tender age. So he came in the form of a Brahmana boy and he started speaking to these queens. Alas, look at these ladies, they're grown-up adults. But they're so ignorant. They're weeping and crying on the dead body of the husband, thinking that, since he's gone, they are rendered helpless and without any protection. They don't realize the ultimate protection is beyond Lord. I'm so fortunate that, at the very young age, I don't have any parents. He's talking like as if, he's an orphan. Without any parents, we have been rendered, helpless, but we have not died. We have been protected by and nourished by the mercy of the Supreme Lord. But how interesting it is that these grown-up ladies, adults, they don't have this sensibility that ultimately the Supreme Lord who protects everyone, nourishes everyone. My dear ladies, you're not realizing one thing, that the king, Suyakya, with whom you used to converse, whom you perceived as your husband, is already gone. What you're seeing here is just a dead body. And even if you continue to cry for the rest of eternity here, you're not going to get him back. He's gone. And Yamaraj started telling a beautiful story to these queens. So now, Hiranyakashipu is telling the story of Yamaraj to the mother and sister-in-law and nephews. And in that story, Yamaraj is telling the story to the queens. So Yamaraj started telling that once in a forest, there lived a pair of Kulinga birds. And they were very affectionate to each other, very strongly bound by the attachment to each other. So one day, a hunter came in the forest and he spread the net. And the female Kulinga bird, she, being ignorant of the net, she actually landed in the net of the hunter and she was caught. So when the hunter saw his dear wife being caught in the net of the hunter, he started lamenting. Sitting on the tree and looking at his wife and started lamenting, "Oh, my dear wife, she's gone in the jaws of death." Though the female Kulinga bird was still alive, she was captured by the hunter, but she was still alive. So he started lamenting, oh, what will happen to me? I'm so unfortunate, so wretched. I never performed any pious activity. Therefore, my wife is, taken away from me. What is the use of my family life since my wife is gone? So he's lamenting in this way. The hunter saw that the bird was lamenting and inattentive. He took a shot and shot an arrow at him. And the male Kulinga bird, being shot by the arrow, fell down and died. So Yamaraj started telling these queens that, my dear queens, if you continue to cry here for the rest of your life, you will still not get your husband back because he's gone. In the meantime, your life will be finished. Actually, Vidura and his instructions to the Dhritarashtra, and not Vidura actually, there's Narada Muni. Narada Muni is instructing to Yudhishthira Maharaj. He says, Kala karma gunadino deho yam pancha bhautik. Katham anyastu gopaye sarvagrasto yatha. So he says, Katham anyastu gopaye. He said, how can you give protection to anyone else when you yourself are in the jaws of a serpent? So we all have this body which is under the influence of Kala, Karma and Guna. This body is subjected by the influence of Kala, time. In due course of time, this body dwindles and dies. Karma. This body is very much influenced by our past deeds and deeds in this lifetime. So based on our activities, we have a duration of life. We are subjected to death because of our karma at certain time. And similarly, guna. The modes of material nature force us to seek enjoyment in certain way. When my mind is agitated by passion, I look for the happiness which is pertaining to the mode of passion. When my body is subjected to the mode of ignorance, I seek happiness which is pertaining to the mode of ignorance. But actually the soul is completely aloof from this body, completely aloof from the three modes of material nature. But the body, because we have, is very much under the control of Kala, Karma and Guna. Kala, Karma, Gunadhino, Dehoyam Pancha Bhautika. So this body, since it is under the control of Kala, Karma and Guna, it is like in the jaws of a serpent or a python. So just imagine a person, his half body is swallowed by the python and he's lamenting, oh, what will happen to my wife or what will happen to my children? You yourself are in the jaws of serpent. You are going to die soon. The snake that is swallowing you. So suppose I'm supposed to live for 100 years and right now I'm 50 years. Half of my body is gone in the mouth of the serpent. So Yamaraj instructed these queens that, in the due course of time, your life will be finished. So please give up this lamentations. So the queens, they were astonished seeing a young boy speaking like this. They became pacified by the instructions of Yamaraj and they let the body to be cremated. So in this way, Hiranyakashipu, he pacified his mother. So his mother Diti, she became pacified and she started engaging herself in household duties. Same with Ushabhanu, the wife of Hiranyaksha. Then Hiranyakashipu decided that he would go and perform severe austerities. He'll perform such severe austerities that he will actually get the benediction. So he started performing severe austerities. And he performed austerities for 10,000 celestial years. Ordinarily, it's not possible for any human being to do such austerity. In fact, nobody has done such austerity as Hiranyakashipu did. So Hiranyakashipu performed severe austerities. He was standing, he actually stood on the toe of his feet. Both the feet were also raised. He was simply standing on the toes of his feet with both the hands raised up in the sky. And he was calling to Brahmadev. Now, when he was performing tapasya like this, demigods tried to distract him, but they couldn't because he was so determined. And slowly and gradually, he became so powerful because he was not eating or drinking anything. He was simply standing there in that posture, neglecting his body completely. The demigods, when they couldn't succeed in breaking his austerities, they went to their homes. But in due course of time, Hiranyakashipu became so powerful that the fire started emanating from his head. The flames of fire. Now, generally, the flames of fire emanating in a small person's body, a human being's body, how much effect it could have. He was performing this austerity in the Mandarachala mountain. So, Mandarachala mountain is very huge. Suppose fire is emanating from my head, how much it can actually have impact? Maybe little bit impact in this room only. Beyond this room, no, nothing else. But the fire emanating from the head of Hiranyakashipu started scorching entire universe. In fact, the demigods in the heavenly planets started feeling the heat of that fire. They were very much inconvenienced. The whole sky started becoming filled with the smoke, and darkness prevailed everywhere. So demigods became very perturbed seeing the austerities of Hiranyakashipu. They went to Lord Brahma and they started informing Lord Brahma, my dear Brahmadev, we have come to inform you that Hiranyakashipu, although you are aware, but we still want to let you know that Hiranyakashipu is, with such a nuisance to the whole creation, is performing severe austerities. And we want to let you know why he's performing austerities, so that you know. You might know, but we still feel, it's our duty to inform you why he's performing austerities. You have attained your position as Brahma by your austerities. Hiranyakashipu is thinking he will replace you. He wants to take your position by his austerities. When people are insecure, they want to enforce their insecurities on you. Actually, they're afraid of losing their position. So they started scaring Brahma that he wants to take your position, which was actually true in one way. Hiranyakashipu had that intention as well. So, and they said, we also want to let you know what his intentions are. My dear Brahmadev, you have performed austerity and you have created this path of tapasya, that by tapasya people can attain higher destination. Hiranyakashipu wants to reverse everything. That means people who perform tapasya, they should go to hell, and people who engage in unrestricted sense enjoyment and engage in sinful activities, they should be elevated. Just imagine. This was the intention of Hiranyakashipu. He actually wanted that. And he did that also. When he became the ruler, he actually implemented that. So please, and now he's performing such severe austerities, it's scorching all the abodes. Human beings, animals, birds, demigods, nobody is able to live peacefully because of this extraordinary heat prevailing all over the universe. So please stop him from performing severe austerities. And Brahma said, yes, I'm aware of. Let me go and stop him. So because Hiranyakashipu was performing austerities for 60,000 years, 10,000 years, his whole body was covered with ant hills. Actually, his whole body was first eaten by the ants. Ants drank the blood from his body and ate the flesh also. So practically speaking, only the bones were left. And Hiranyakashipu, by his powers, he was able to maintain the soul within even those skeleton, the bones. Now, suppose somebody peels off our flesh, we will probably die. People start peeling our skin, or even if too much pain comes to the body in any way, we will probably die. But Hiranyakashipu, even though all the blood was drank, all the flesh was eaten away, still he was maintaining the life within the bones. And of course, that was also fully covered with the anthill. So Brahma appeared on the scene. All he could see was a huge anthill. From the anthill, the voice was coming out. Om Brahma Devaya Namaha. So Brahma, he spoke to Hiranyakashipu, my dear Hiranyakashipu, O son of Kashyapa, please stop your austerity. I am very pleased with you. I am very happy with you. You may ask any boon from me. And saying this, Brahma sprinkled some water from his kamandalu. Immediately, the body of Hiranyakashipu was restored back. So all the flesh and bone that the blood was gone from the body, Hiranyakashipu regained. His body became just as before he started the austerities. So Hiranyakashipu became very pleased. He actually saw Brahma. He offered obeisances to Brahma, and the tears started flowing from his eyes. He expressed the devotion to Brahma. Brahma said, my dear son of Kashyapa, please get up. I'm very pleased with your austerities. Ask me any boon. So Hiranyakashipu said, my dear Lord, I want to become immortal. Give me the boon of immortality. And Brahma said, I'm sorry. Nobody in this creation is immortal. So Hiranyakashipu, he knew that sometimes demigods, they don't want to give boons. So he had thought another option. He said, okay, you cannot give me immortality. All right. I want these boons then. I said, okay, what is that? Nobody should be able to kill me. All the living entities created by you, whether human beings, animals, birds, beasts, Gandharvas, Devatas, Yakshas, Chanaras, Kinnaras, Manushas, nobody should be able to kill me. The living entities who have been created by you in this creation, none of them should be able to kill me. Brahma said, all right. I should not die in the daytime or nighttime. All right. Given, I should not die at the hands of, through the astra or shastra. Astra shastra means living weapon or dead weapons. I shouldn't die through astras or shastras. And then I also should not die in the day or night. I should not die inside or outside the home. In this way, he asked so many benedictions from Lord Brahma, and Brahma said, all right. He said, give me benediction that no old age or disease should ever afflict my body. My body should be free from deterioration. Nobody should be able to curse me. I should have all the yogic siddhis of anima, lagima, prapti, vashita. And I should have practically no rival. Nobody should be able to defeat me. Brahma gave all these boons to him. So in this way, Hiranyakashipu, he received these boons from Brahma and became extremely powerful. And once he received these boons, he considered himself immortal. Because if you cannot die in the daytime, in the nighttime, you cannot die by any of the 84, 8 species of life. You cannot die, in the daytime or nighttime. You cannot die inside or outside the home. How you will die? You don't die in the land, sky, or in the water. Where you will die? So he considered himself immortal. And as soon as he considered himself immortal, he immediately, went to the heavenly planets, defeated the demigods, and after defeating the demigods, he drew them out, driven them out from the heavenly planets. The demigods, they were actually, driven away from the heavenly planets, and they came to the earth. Disguised as human beings, they started roaming on the earth. And Hiranyakashipu took charge of all the demigods' role. That means, as Indra, he took the charge of heavenly planets, as the king of the heavenly planets, and he started supplying rains all over the creation. He took the charge of Vayu, started managing all the air within the universe. He took charge of Agni's role. Practically every demigod was removed from their position, and Hiranyakashipu was single-handedly alone managing everything. And it's not that he was busy in managing. So powerful. He was always, busy in enjoying sense gratification. He was mostly intoxicated by high, very, high intoxicating beverages. And he had beautiful women from all over the creation. In fact, the very name Hiranyakashipu means, Kashipu means this pillow or the bedding, soft bedding. So he was fond of soft bedding. And soft bedding means he was fond of enjoying sex life on the soft bedding. And he was fond of gold. Gold and sex. These are the two things which actually indicate through his name. So Hiranyakashipu, he, started ruling the whole universe, enjoying the creation. Now, Vishnu Puran also explains that after he received the boons from Brahma and he conquered the whole universe, he again wanted to go for tapasya and perform again another round of tapasya. This time he told his wife and everyone that I'll go for performing tapasya for 60,000 years. So he went to do tapasya and he started performing tapasya. The demigods became afraid. Now what he will do? They went to Brahma, please stop him. And Brahma was scratching his head. How can I stop him? That time Narada Muni came and he said, my dear Lord, please don't worry. I will make sure that Narada Muni, that Hiranyakashipu does not perform any tapasya. So Narada Muni took Parvat Muni with him. And two of them, they took the form of bird. The birds, following birds, and they went to the Mandara mountain where Hiranyakashipu was performing tapasya. And both of them, they sat very close to Hiranyakashipu. Hiranyakashipu was with closed eyes performing tapasya. They went on a tree very close to Hiranyakashipu and started chanting. Om Namo Narayanaya. Om Namo Narayanaya. Om Namo Narayanaya. So Hiranyakashipu heard this and he became his meditation, because he heard the name of Narayan. Immediately his mind was agitated. His meditation broke. He looked at the birds. He picked up the bow and arrow and he shot arrows at both of them. But before he could shoot the arrow, both the birds flew away. And he was so agitated in the mind, left Mandara mountain and went home. Now this time his wife had just completed her monthly periods. So she was actually ready to bear a child. So Hiranyakashipu went, and being agitated by lusty desires, he took his wife Kayadu to a secluded place. So when he was having union with his wife inquired, my dear husband, you said that you'll be gone for 60,000 years. But you came so quickly. So he started narrating the whole thing, how the two birds came. And while he's having, sexual union with his wife, he actually chanted this mantra. He said, these birds came and they chanted, Om Namo Narayanai. And that agitated my mind. And I stopped my austerities. So because while having union with his wife, he was chanting the name of Narayan. Narada Muni actually, in one way, forced him to have Garbhadhana Samskar, remembering Lord Narayan while having union with his wife. So therefore, the great Mahabhagavat, Prahlad, was born in the womb of Kayadu. And of course, after that, he again tried to attempt to do tapasya. He went for tapasya. And when he was gone for tapasya, his wife was pregnant. And that is the time when demigods, they thought of killing Kayadu, which was narrated by Prahlad Maharaj later on to his friends. So, Hiranyakashipu, this Prahlad was born somehow, and Hiranyakashipu, he had so much affection for his child, for his son. In fact, Prahlad's qualities are so beautifully narrated by Shukdev Goswami. That Prahlad was a great Mahabhagavat Vaishnava. And not only Vaishnava, but he had all the worldly good qualities as well. He was so obedient to his parents, so respectful to his parents and teacher and every elder. So one day, his mother decorated Prahlad very nicely with beautiful ornaments. And she brought him to his father. Prahlad was going to school that time. So, Hiranyakashipu, when he saw Prahlad, he actually picked him up and, put him on his lap and started, kissing his forehead and smelling his, head. And he said, my dear Prahlad, what you have learned? I'm sure you've been learning in the school. You must have learned a lot of things. So please contemplate and tell me what is the best subject matter that you have learned from your teachers. So Prahlad, he said to his father, Tat sadhumanye suravarya dehina sada samudvigna dhyam asadbrihan itvatmapatam grihamanda kupam vanam gato yad harimashrayetam. He said, my dear father, this is what I have learned, which I consider as the best. It says that a person who is too much attached to family life, tat sadhu manne, this is what I consider the best. Asura varya dehina. Asura varya means, oh, best of the demons. Because Prahlad knew that Hiranyakashipu was the demon, Asura. But he was best of the Asuras. Hiranyakashipu was actually indeed the topmost Asura of his time. So he says, my dear, best of the demons, Tat sadhu manne. This is what I consider the best. What? Dehinam sada samudvigna dhyam. Among the Dehinam means people who are actually have this material body, who are embodied. Among the embodied living entities, Sada samudvigna dhyam, who have dhyam, intelligence always agitated. Sada samudvigna. Samyak rupena udvigna. That is samudvigna. Samyak means totally. Totally. Udvigna means agitated. One whose intelligence is totally agitated. totally disturbed. Why disturbed? Asat griha. Because they have accepted something that is asat, which is not reality. So what is not reality? This body is not reality. This body is asat. In the sense that it's temporary. And everything that we create in the relationship of this body, that is relationships, wife, children, or husband, children, for the ladies, relatives, home, bank balance, cars, all this is in relationship to the body. So when we start accepting this as the reality of life, oh, this body is real, and everything in relation to body I need to have. I need to have best cars, I need to have best home, I need to have best clothing, best food, best sex life to enjoy, best children who are obedient to me. So a person who is aspiring for such thing, asad grahat, and always disturbed in the mind, for such a person, the best course is hitvatma patam griham. That griham, whom he has considered as the reality, he should hitva. He should give it up. Why? Because atma patam, it is destroyer of the self. Atma means soul, and patam means which degrades or destroys in one way. Hitva atma patam griham. So one should give up the home, which is actually the source of degrading one's soul. Why? Because andakupan, it's like a blind well without any water. Sometime in the forest, the well gets covered with the grass, and the foolish person, who's walking in the forest may not realize that there's the well, and he may fall in the well. And the well is also completely empty without any water. So as he falls in the bottom of the well, his limbs break. And there's no one to even help him out, to bring him out. So Prahlad Maharaj is saying one should give up that blind well like family life, which is the source of agitating one's consciousness. Sada samudvigna. Yeah. And what you do? Not only Prahlad Maharaj is saying what we should give up, but he's saying vanam gato, he should go to forest and do what? Yat harim ashrayet. He should take shelter of Lord Hari. Now, hearing the name of Lord Hari, Harim Ashrayeta, Hiranyakashipu became so agitated and angry. He immediately started laughing. He was so angry in the heart, but he didn't want to show the anger to the son because he thought this child is actually innocent. He has been misguided. So he started laughing very loudly. He said, thus the child's intelligence is being polluted. He told the teachers, especially Shanda and Amarta, that protect this child. Be extra careful, because it looks like in your Gurukul some Vaishnavas are coming and giving this kind of education. So be very careful, protect the child and protect all the children. Nobody should go there. Especially a Vaishnava should not go there in disguise and pollute the children's consciousness like this. But the teachers, they took Prahlad to the school. And they started inquiring from Prahlad, my dear Prahlad, all good fortune into you. Please do not be afraid. Tell us the truth. You see all these friends of you, they're not like you. Where did you learn all this from? Who taught you about, Hari Ashrayata, take shelter of Lord Hari? Who taught you all this? Please, honest, don't hide from us, don't speak lies. You should never tell lies to your teacher. So please tell me. These Vaishnavas are our enemies. How you got this education from enemies? Who are those enemies who actually came and taught you this? So Prahlad Maharaj, when he heard these talks of Vaishnavas are our enemies, he actually with the folded hands, started praying to the Supreme Lord. Loudly started praying so that even Shandamara could hear. So he said, I offer my obeisance to the Supreme Lord by whose illusory energy one identifies himself with the body in terms of I and mine, in terms of this is my friend, this is my enemy. So just imagine, the teachers are asking one thing and what answer Prahlad is giving. They're asking me, who taught you this? And he's saying, I offered my obeisance to Lord Vishnu, Lord Narayan. Boy, whose illusory energy? People fall in this trap of illusion and consider, here is my friend, here is my enemy. Actually, no one is our friend or enemy. This mentality actually is very much detrimental to one's upliftment in Krishna consciousness. Especially a sadhaka, a practicing devotee, should not get entangled in considering somebody as a friend and somebody as an enemy. Anyway, when the teachers heard this reply, they became so angry. They say, oh, bring me a stick. Bring me a stick. This child Prahlad, he is the most abominable child. He is actually like a cinder in the family. Hindi mein we say, right? Kalank. Family ke naam, family ke liye kalank hai ye. Cinder means the coal, charcoal, the black charcoal. He said, he's like a charcoal, the cinder in the family. You know? Kalik potne aaya hai. He said, the dynasty of Asuras is like a sandalwood forest. So all the demonic family, they're like the trees, beautiful sandalwood trees in the forest of sandalwood. This Prahlad, however, is like a thorn tree born in the midst of sandalwood trees. Why? Because he has given up his friendship with his family members and relatives, and he has taken shelter of Lord Vishnu. Vishnu is like an axe, and this Prahlad is like a thorn tree. In order to cut the sandalwood trees, you need an axe, but axe also needs a handle. And the wood thorn tree is the most appropriate handle for the axe. So in this way, they were considering themselves as sandalwood trees and considering Prahlad as a thorn tree. Anyway, they continued to teach Prahlad, and Prahlad was very humble and obedient to the teachers. He did not like the subject matter that the teachers were teaching him. They were teaching him the diplomacy, politics, which actually involves considering somebody as friend, somebody as the enemy, and how to subdue others, how to keep others under control. So they were teaching all these things, and Prahlad, although he didn't like, but he learned this subject matter. He learned very well. And whenever the teachers would, so after some time, the teachers again, thought that the Prahlad had learned sufficient. So they brought Prahlad to Hiranyakashipu again. So his mother again beautifully decorated him. And the teachers told the mother that he has learned sufficient so he can meet his father again. So Kayadu decorated Prahlad beautifully with the ornaments again. And he came again in the presence of Hiranyakashipu. And Hiranyakashipu, Prahlad went and he actually offered obeisance to his father. He touched his feet. He actually touched his head to the feet of Hiranyakashipu. So Hiranyakashipu, when he saw this, he felt so much parental affection, fatherly affection for the child. He picked up Prahlad, and tears started flowing from his eyes, moistening the face of the child. He picked up the child and put him on the lap. again kissed his forehead and started smelling his forehead. And out of so much affection for Prahlad, the tears were constantly flowing from his eyes. The face of Prahlad was being moistened by the tears of Hiranyakashipu. And he asked the same question. My dear son Prahlad, all good fortune unto you. You have learned so many things from the teachers. So please tell me, what is the best subject matter you think you have learned? What did Prahlad say? Prahlad said, Shravanam Kirtanam Vishnu Smaranam Padasevanam Archanam Mandanam Dasyam Sakyam Atmanivedanam. He said, my dear father, I have learned from my teachers that this 9 process of devotional service, Navada Bhakti. What is Navada Bhakti? The process of hearing and chanting Krishna's glories. Shravanam, Kirtanam, Vishnu. The word Vishnu. Shravanam, Kirtanam, Vishnu. Smaranam, remembering Lord Vishnu. Pada Sevanam, serving his lotus feet. Archanam, doing his archana. Vandanam, offering prayers to him. Archanam, Vandanam, Sakyam, being friend to the Supreme Lord. Sakyam, Atmanivedanam, and offering everything one possesses in the service of the Lord. So when Hiranyakashipu heard this, he became so angry, so outraged. He told actually his son, he chastised, Vishnu Purana actually explains, he chastised his son saying, my dear son, why did you develop this mentality of serving somebody? I am the emperor of the whole universe is under my control. You are my son, you're supposed to inherit everything. Why you want to serve somebody as a menial servant? And that too Vishnu, our enemy? You are so unfortunate, Prahlad. Giving up the royal position of emperor, you want to become a menial servant of Vishnu. Of course, Shukadeva Goswami explains in Bhagavatam that Hiranyakashipu, he started telling Prahlad. He told actually demons, take him away, immediately kill him. Because this Prahlad is the killer of my brother. Why killer of my brother? Because he has taken shelter of Vishnu, who has killed my brother. He has gone in the party of Vishnu. Therefore, he is also killer of my brother. In fact, it's not very much guaranteed that he will behave well towards Vishnu, because in such a tender age, he has given up his affectionate relationship with his father and mother to take shelter of Vishnu. A person who does not even care for his father and mother, what is the guarantee that he will behave well towards Vishnu? So in this way, he's even trying to communicate to Lord Vishnu that don't count on him so much. He's not a trustworthy person. And he started in anger speaking that, if a herb which is actually born in the forest, in the middle of the forest is not somewhere we live in a home. But if the herb is born in the forest and it's useful and beneficial for us, we bring that herb home and preserve it very nicely. So similarly, if somebody who's not born in our family, born somewhere else, but he's favorably disposed, we should bring him and keep good relationship with him and protect that person. On the other hand, if the limb of my body is polluted or diseased and cause of the pain, that limb should be cut off. Because the limb is polluted with the disease, it is giving pain, we cut off the limb. So similarly, this Prahlad, although he's born of my own body, because he has taken shelter of Vishnu, he's become like a diseased limb and he must be killed. So he told the Asuras, whether awake, sitting, sleeping, eating, whatever way you want, kill him. The demons took away the Prahlad and they started striking Prahlad with their weapons. All the weapons, the swords, spears, and different kinds of weapons, they were tridents, they were trying to pierce Prahlad with. Although the Prahlad's body was very tender, very soft, but all their hard weapons could not even scratch the surface of the skin of Prahlad. On the contrary, when they tried to use forcefully those weapons, the weapons broke. And because they were committing offense to a great Mahabhagavat, the weapons actually started, slipping from their hand and killing those demons itself. So demons actually in great agony and fear ran away from Prahlad. And they went and informed Hiranyakashipu. So when the weapons couldn't kill Prahlad, Hiranyakashipu devised so many different means. He told the demons that take Prahlad, he's sleeping in the night time, bind him with this Nagapash and take him to the middle of the ocean and throw him. On top of that, you throw the big boulders on him so that he's buried in the ocean. When he drowns, he's buried with the boulders in the ocean. So they did that. And this Prahlad was sleeping in the night time. They actually bound him with the Nagapash, took him in the middle of the ocean and threw him in the ocean. And on top of that, they threw the mountains, so that he'll be buried under the mountain in the ocean. But as soon as Prahlad was thrown in the ocean became so agitated. Because Prahlad, he's a great Vaishnava, Mahabhagavat. Ocean considered that another ocean had entered into him. So ocean had so much reverence for Prahlad. In fact, the waves of the ocean, the demons left, but the waves of ocean, they started bringing Prahlad to the seashore. Prahlad was still sleeping. He didn't even realize. He was in Samadhi. He was remembering Krishna. Even at night time, he would not sleep. He would be so much absorbed in remembering Krishna in the Samadhi that he would not realize his surrounding. So even though he was bound by Nagapash and thrown into the ocean, in the water, he was still in Samadhi. And when the ocean actually brought the Prahlad to the seashore, Garuda immediately came and ate all the snakes which were binding Prahlad. And after a while, Samudradev, he was standing there with the folded hands. And Prahlad came to the consciousness. And he was a little surprised. How did I come here? So Samudradev actually explained, my dear son, my dear child, you were thrown by the demons in the ocean, being bound by Nagapash. Just few moments before you came to consciousness, the Garuda came and ate all the snakes. I want to offer you some gifts. So Samudra actually brought all the precious jewels and gifts to Prahlad. Prahlad said, please bless me that I may constantly remember the lotus feet of Lord Krishna. I don't need anything else. Samudra said, yes, I give you blessings also, but I want to offer you these gifts. Please accept them. So Prahlad happily accepted those gifts. And when he came back, the demons were amazed. They informed Hiranyakashipu. Hiranyakashipu called the snakes, very powerful snakes, sons of Kadru, who had so much poison that simply by touch of that poison, the person can be burned to ashes. So he told them, go and bite Prahlad. So Prahlad was put into a dungeon and all the snakes were sent inside. And all these snakes went to bite Prahlad and all their teeth broke. They couldn't bite Prahlad at all. And with all their teeth broken, they went to Hiranyakashipu and said, my dear Lord, sorry, we couldn't. They were afraid of Hiranyakashipu's anger. They said, see, our teeth are broken. We tried, There's no one in this creation. Our fangs are so strong that even mountains, we could pierce them. Even the stones, we can put these fangs of us, and by the power of our poison, even the stones would be burned to ashes. But unfortunately, we failed to bite Prahlad. He's still alive. Prahlad, in this way, Hiranyakashipu tried so many ways. He tried to put him under the elephant's feet, to trample him under the elephant's feet. He tried to feed poison to Prahlad in the food, in the name of Vishnu Prasad, and Prahlad happily accepted it. None of his sinful means actually worked. He also tried to, through his own sister, Simhika. Bhagavatam says actually Simhika was sister of Prahlad. She was married to a demon named Viprachitti. So Simhika had a benediction to not be burned by the fire. So she took up Prahlad to assist Hiranyakashipu. She took up Prahlad and sat in the fire to burn Prahlad. Now see, the demons, when their intelligence is lost, they do crazy things like this. They could have put Prahlad in the fire. Why she had to come and sit with Prahlad in the fire? So anyway, so she sat with Prahlad in the fire and she got burned to ashes. Although she had benediction, and when Hiranyakashipu, he saw his sister was burned to ashes, Prahlad was not, he called Agni Dev, because Agni is the one who had given him benediction to his sister. He was so angry at Agni, he said, "You rascal, you had given benediction to my sister that you will not burn her, and you burned her. So I'm going to punish you." Because he couldn't kill Agni. Agni and all the demigods have drank Amrit, so they can't be killed. But Agni actually gave reasoning, "My dear Lord, I had given her benediction with a warning that she will be protected from Agni only whenever she is in dangerous condition. But I had warned her that she cannot use this benediction as a weapon to kill somebody else, to drag somebody in the fire, expecting that she will not be burned. I had warned her that she cannot use this benediction as a weapon. She can use it to protect herself, but not as a weapon to kill somebody else." So because she tried to use this as a weapon to kill Prahlad, my benediction failed. Hiranyakashipu was anyway still angry with Agni. So he tried so many ways. Because of Simhika got burned, we have this beautiful celebration of Holi itself that comes one day after Gaur Purnima. So in this way, Hiranyakashipu tried so many ways, and finally he couldn't kill Prahlad. He became so morose, losing all the luster of his body. He was thinking, I tried to kill him so many ways, but I failed. He has saved himself by his own powers. Looks like he's invincible. And he never forgets my misbehavior and his friendship or relationship with Lord Vishnu. He's just like a dog's curved tail, kutte ki poonch. He cannot be straightened. And because I have failed to kill him in so many ways, by using so many means, so looks like that I am going to be killed. Or maybe that will not happen. So he's thinking in a very distressful way, how I can kill Prahlad. The teachers, Shanda and Amarka, they arrived there and they saw Hiranyakashipu in such a distressful condition, not being able to kill Prahlad. They said, "My dear king, we have some suggestion." "Yes, what is that?" He said, "Prahlad is just a child. He's, after all, children's good or bad qualities have not much meaning." Which is actually true. What Chandamarka was saying, that is true. Children, sometimes you'll see a lot of good qualities manifest in childhood. They're very well behaved, obedient to parents, but when they grow up, they become rogues, disobedient to parents, and they misbehave with everyone. Or sometimes in the childhood, the child is very mischievous, misbehaving, and such a pain to the parents. But when he grows up, he becomes a saintly person. So in this way, children's exhibition of different qualities doesn't really make much difference. So they told that, you shouldn't worry about Prahlad. After all, he's a child and his good and bad qualities have not much meaning. So bind him with the, Varunapash so that he doesn't run away, but we will train him in the school. So Hiranyakashipu said, all right, take him. So they brought Prahlad to the school and they started training him again. And Prahlad was obedient to the teachers. But whenever the teachers would go to take care of their household duties, Prahlad would start talking to the demons' children, other children who were his classmates. They were the sons of all the different ministers and powerful soldiers of Hiranyakashipu. So Prahlad would talk to all these sons of demons who were actually not polluted as their parents. They were actually innocent children. So Prahlad started preaching to them. When the teachers were not around, he would teach them that, my dear sons of demons. The whole chapter, instructions of Prahlad to the, it's already 8:35. Sorry, I didn't realize the time. But Prahlad gave beautiful instructions to his friends. Kamaram acharet pragyo dharman bhagavatan. He told his friends, my dear sons of demons, you should practice Krishna consciousness from this very age of Kaumara, from the age of tender, age of 5. Because that's the purpose of human life. This material body and all the things in relationship to body are temporary. You should not be, engaging in sense gratification to nurture this body in sense gratification. Is a failure for the human form of life. And he told the demons that, on average, we have this life of 100 years. These are the instructions of Prahlad. Just imagine. He's analyzing that we have on average life of 100 years. But a person who's uncontrolled doesn't practice Krishna consciousness. So just analyzing his life. The first 10 years as a child, the years pass without even being conscious. Till the age of 10, the child doesn't have much consciousness. Another 10 years go in playing as a child. And last 20 years of one's life, one is old and invalid anyway, cannot do much. So remaining 60 years. And he said, in those 60 years also, a person who's uncontrolled sleeps 50% of his time. 12 hours a day he sleeps. So 15 years are gone, remaining 15 years. But even those 15 years, a person simply wants to eat, sleep, enjoy sex, and waste the life in that way. So he said, one should not waste life like that. You should engage in devotional service of Lord Vishnu, because even slightest form of little bit devotional service will bring one perfections of human life. But foolish people who are too much attached to family life, their hearts are always consumed by the thinking of family members, especially the wife who gives so much pleasure to the husband by cooking nice foodstuffs and giving sexual pleasure in the night. And the children, when they speak in broken language, it attracts the heart of the person so much. Especially the daughter is so dear to the father. So a person who is materialistic, his heart is always filled with the remembrance of all these family relationships. And Prahlad also told his friend that this actually in Vishnu Puran, he says, he's telling his friends, all these relationships, the more relationships expand in this world, a person is establishing those many spheres in his heart. The sphere means bhala. The person is establishing those many spheres as many relationships he has. It's just a matter of time when that sphere will pierce his heart. And we know every relationship in this world brings pain eventually. Every relationship makes a person broken-hearted, no matter what relationship one has. Even the children, the wife, the husband, that's what Prahlad Maharaj is saying. Just imagine, 5-year-old child is speaking such beautiful wisdom, realized knowledge. So therefore, you should worship the Supreme Lord. And this is called Bhagavad Dharma. I learned this Bhagavad Dharma from Narad Muni, who had received this Bhagavad Dharma teachings from Lord Narayan in the beginning of creation. So children got a little inquisitive, said, Prahlad, we have been living in the school of Chanda and Amarka. We have no scope of going out anywhere. We don't go, you don't go anywhere. So we have never seen Narad Muni anywhere here in the school. Where did you learn from him? But then Prahlad smiled and he started narrating. He said, my father, when he impregnated my mother, and he went to the forest to perform tapasya, the demigods headed by Indra, they thought, my mother, she's having the seed of the demon Hiranyakashipu. So this child will also be a demon, so they wanted to kill me. So when Hiranyakashipu, my father, was gone to perform tapasya, they took away my wife, took away my mother from the palace, and they wanted to kill me. So when they were taking away my mother was like a Kurari bird, she was crying. And Narad Muni met them on the way, and he told, the demigods, why you want to take this woman? Why are you troubling this lady? They said, well, this woman has seed of Hiranyakashipu in her womb. So that seed is also going to be a great demon. So we want to kill the child. And not only the one who had, given diksha to the child in one way. He is the one as a parrot, had performed Gardhana Samskara. He has forced Hiranyakashipu to perform Gardhana Samskara. So he knew that child is going to be great Mahabhagavat. He told the demigods, oh, don't worry, this child is going to be great Mahabhagavat. You will not be able to kill him. So then demigods, realizing that the child in the womb of Kayadu is actually great Mahabhagavat, they offered pranam and they circumambulated Kayadu and left her in the care of Narad Muni. And Narad Muni took Kayadu to his ashram. And there, Prahlad Maharaj explained to his friends that there, while I was in the womb of my mother, he gave these beautiful instructions of Bhagavad Dharma teachings to my mother. But because my mother is a woman and she's too much attached to the family life, she forgot those instructions in due course of time. But I have not forgotten, by the mercy of Narad Muni. So in this way, the boys, they actually became so much enriched in Krishna consciousness by hearing from Prahlad Maharaj. And Chanda and Amarka, they realized this, that now not only Prahlad, but even children are chanting the names of Hari and Krishna. So before this news could reach to Hiranyakashipu, they brought Prahlad and they narrated everything to Hiranyakashipu. They said, my dear king, he's polluting everyone else. He's preaching to everyone else about Krishna consciousness. So Hiranyakashipu became so outraged. He said, you rascal Prahlad, where have you learned all this from? Your teachers have not taught you. Where you learned all this from? And if you're not learned all this wisdom from your teachers, where are you learning from? Prahlad Maharaj said, Matirna Krishne paratah svatova vitho vipadyeta prahagratanam padanta gobe vishatam tamisram punah punascharvita charvananam. He actually started telling his father, my dear father, I have this consciousness that you're talking about cannot be developed. Matirna Krishne. Parato Svatova. One cannot develop this consciousness by one's own endeavor, or by the endeavor of others, or by the combined endeavor of others and himself. This consciousness is developed by Mahiyasam Padarajobhishekam, by taking the dust from the lotus feet of Vaishnavas and smearing all over his body. Nishkinchanana Navranitaya. As long as one does not do that, does not take the dust from the feet of Vaishnava and smear on his body, one cannot develop this consciousness. This was so outraging. Hiranyakashipu was so angry. He told Prahlad, you're always talking about some god, Krishna or Vishnu. If he's everywhere, if you always say that he's everywhere, if he's everywhere, why I'm not seeing him here? Because Hiranyakashipu decided that he's going to kill with his own hands Prahlad. He said, you're talking so much nonsense that God is everywhere. If he's everywhere, I want to see him. Tell me, where is he? And let me see how he protects you today. If he's here, I'm going to kill you. I'm going to chop off your head. Let me see if he comes and protects you. And saying this, he actually asked Prahlad, you're saying he's everywhere. Is he there in this pillar also? Because Hiranyakashipu knew that palace was built under his supervision. So there's only stones within the pillar. Prahlad said, yes, he's everywhere. Krishna is everywhere. He's there in each and every atom of this creation. So he's there certainly in the pillar also. In fact, the Vaishnava Acharyas explained that when Hiranyakashipu asked Prahlad, is Krishna, is your Lord, Supreme Lord in this pillar also? Prahlad looked in the pillar and he could see Lord Narsimhadev, getting ready to rip off his father. And he tweaked his eye at Prahlad. Yes, tell him that I'm here. So Prahlad said, yes, he's there. So Hiranyakashipu, with his fist, he actually hit the pillar. And as he hit the pillar cracked and there was a thundering sound came from within the pillar. The sound which actually created fear in the heart of Hiranyakashipu as well. You see, whenever the thunderclap happens, whenever the lightning happens in the sky and the thunderclap voice we hear, if you're hearing first time, when the thunderclap happens first time and we are inattentive, we get scared, That thunderclap is actually the opulence of Krishna. The sound vibration which can create fear in the heart of anyone, including Hiranyakashipu. The thunderclap is actually Vibhuti of Krishna. The sound vibration Vibhuti of Krishna, which can create fear in anyone's heart. So although Hiranyakashipu had all these bones, he got fearful hearing that thundering sound from the pillar. And pillar crack open and immediately he saw a ferocious looking, gigantic form, which had body of a human being, but head of a lion, appeared from the pillar. Satyam vidhatum nijbhritya bhashitam. Shukadeva Goswami says, just to fulfill the words of Prahlad as truthful, the Lord appeared from the pillar and he entered into the sabha, into the assembly of Hiranyakashipu. So Hiranyakashipu, when he saw the Narsimhadev, he was a little amazed at this form. He was trying to figure out whether he's a human being or animal. What is he exactly? But then he picked up. Then he understood, oh, this is Vishnu. He has taken another form to kill me. But what are the use? Human beings, animal, nobody can kill me. So even if he has taken some tricky form like this, he cannot kill me. Hiranyakashipu was in this illusion. He had forgotten what benedictions he had asked from Brahma. So he picked up the weapons and attacked on Lord Narasimhadev. And these other demons also attacked. And Lord Narasimhadev had thousands of arms. With his arms, he started cutting the heads of, with his nails, he started cutting the heads of all the demonic soldiers. And with all his hands, he was catching different soldiers and killing them. And he started fighting with Hiranyakashipu as well. Lord Narasimhadev, he caught Hiranyakashipu in his grip, and Hiranyakashipu couldn't get out of the grip. He was trying his hard, but he couldn't. He felt, he was being held by a thunderbolt-like body. But then, he was trying to shake himself, and Lord Narasimhadev let him go. Hiranyakashipu thought, oh, he's afraid of me. They continued fighting with Hiranyakashipu for the Lord Narasimhadev continued fighting with Hiranyakashipu for a long time. Till the time Sandhya arrived, the evening twilight arrived. That time Lord Narasimhadev he caught hold of Hiranyakashipu and took him to the doorway of the assembly of the palace of Hiranyakashipu. Sat on the doorway, kept Hiranyakashipu on his lap, and with his nails, he started ripping off the body of Hiranyakashipu. He tore off the body of Hiranyakashipu, took out the intestine from the body, and wrapped around his neck like a garland. Why did Lord Narasimhadev take the intestine of Hiranyakashipu and wrapped around his neck as a garland? This is explained later on by the prayers of the demigods. The hint is given, of course. When Hiranyakashipu threw away all the demons from their position, he announced throughout the universe that people should not stop performing yajna. They should still continue performing yajna, tarpan, shraddha ceremony, but none of these would go to demigods or pitas or anyone. Everything would come to Hiranyakashipu. So all the worship which was being offered throughout the creation in the yajna or in the shraddha ceremony, when the pitris are offered, the food, all that was accepted by Hiranyakashipu. And he used to eat everything, all those offerings. So all those offerings were digested by the intestine of Hiranyakashipu. So all the people who had actually offered those worships, although under the instruction of Hiranyakashipu they had offered, Lord Narasimhadev accepted all of their worship by accepting this intestine of Hiranyakashipu around his neck. He accepted all those offerings which were offered by the different people throughout the universe to Hiranyakashipu. And finally, the Lord threw the body of Hiranyakashipu. And he was so angry, he started killing all the demons. Nobody could pacify him. In fact, Lakshmi Devi, Brahma, Lord Shiva, everybody came in the presence of Hiranyakashipu, and Hiranyakashipu was, Lord Narasimhadev. And Narasimhadev was so angry. After killing Hiranyakashipu also, he was still very angry. Nobody could pacify him. The demigods told Lakshmi Devi that he's your husband, please go and pacify him. She said, no, I never seen him so angry. I don't want to go near him. So then Brahma actually came to Prahlad Maharaj. And, he told Prahlad, my dear son, your father, because he was so demonic, he was torturing you. The Lord appeared for your sake, and he was angry at your father. But your father is dead, and still the Lord's anger is not going down. So you go and pacify him. And Prahlad Maharaj was not at all afraid. He went in presence of Lord Narasimhadev and he offered pranam to Lord Narasimhadev. And Lord, feeling very affectionate to Prahlad, placed his hand on his head and made Prahlad sit on his lap. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu offered a beautiful prayer to Lord Narasimhadev. Especially this particular scene when Lord Narasimhadev is blessing Prahlad, affectionately licking the body of Prahlad, with his tongue like a lion licking the cub. So Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu offered this beautiful prayer. It says, Ugropi anugra evayam subhaktanam nirakeshari. Keshari swapotana annesham ugra vikrama. He says, Ugropi, Lord Narasimhadev is ugra, very, very ferocious. Ugropi anugra evayam. Anugra actually has two meanings. Ugra means ferocious and anugra means one who is not ferocious. But the word anugra also means compassionate and affectionate. So, Ugropi anugra evayam swabhaktanam narakeshari. Lord Narakeshari, Lord Narasimhadev is, even though he's ferocious, but he's very affectionate and loving and kind to his devotees. Keshari iva swapotana annesham ugravik. Just like a lion is very ferocious for everyone else, but very affectionate to his own cub. So Lord Narasimhadev very affectionately gave up his anger, and blessed Prahlad. Prahlad offered beautiful prayers, and Lord Narasimhadev, he became very happy with the prayers of Prahlad Maharaj. So many different demigods also offered the prayers to Lord. We won't go into the details of those prayers. Those are actually beautiful prayers as well. And Prahlad Maharaj's prayers are, of course, very beautiful. The Lord became very pleased and he told Prahlad, Prahlad, I want to give you some boon. Please accept some. The Prahlad said, my dear Lord, I am already born in the family of demons. I already have this, what do you call, mercantile mentality, because demons are always, business minded. So I already have this business mentality. Please do not entice me that because I am, devoted to you, I must accept some boon from you. But if you want to give me any boon, the Lord insisted so that he said, if you want to give me any boon, please give this benediction that my father, who was so inimical towards you, should not go to hell. The Lord said, don't worry, Prahlad. Your father is already purified. In fact, you becoming a devotee in the family of Hiranyakashipu, 21 generations are purified. So in this way, Lord assured, and he said, but still the duty of the son to perform the last rites, so perform the last rites of your father. He is liberated, but still perform the last rites for him. And then take over the charge of your father's kingdom and rule as the righteous king. So in this way, the Supreme Lord Narasimhadev appeared and protected Prahlad and killed Hiranyakashipu. Of course, yesterday was also the appearance day of Sita Devi, the consort of Lord Ramachandra. At this point, I'm remembering the beautiful description in Ramayana about Mother Sita. She appearing, Valmiki Muni actually dedicates one entire chapter how Mother Sita looked like in the palace of Ravana, in the Ashok Vatika of Ravana. So Mother Sita looked so distressed being separated from Lord Ramachandra. In fact, Ravana offered her many beautiful garments and jewels, but she refused to change the clothes. She was still wearing the same dirty sari, which she was wearing while she was kidnapped. She never changed her clothes. She remained in the same sari throughout. So she never accepted, another clothing from Ravana. So Valmiki Muni describes actually Mother Sita appeared. He gives different analogies. Some of those come to my mind is, remembering is, he said, she appeared like the fire covered. When the fire is blazing and you covered with some pot, the fire is still burning, but you cannot see the illumination of the fire. She appeared like, the Chandrama, the moon, full moon in the Rohini Nakshatra, which actually happens in the month of Kartik, So, as if the moon situated in Rohini Nakshatra being eclipsed by Rahu. The moon in the Rohini Nakshatra, full moon in the Rohini Nakshatra is considered the best moon. That is the Kartik Purnima is considered, Ashwin and Kartik, these two Purnimas are considered best Purnima of the year. So, especially the Kartik Purnima is considered best Purnima of the year. Because that time the moon is exalted in Rohini Nakshatra. Those who know Aswadi, they will know this. But when the eclipse happens in that time, the moon actually loses its beauty. So she appeared like the moon eclipse in the Rohini Nakshatra. So in this way, the whole idea was that Mother Sita, even though she's the goddess of fortune, she was not happy in Lanka. And when Lakshmi is not happy, she acts as Alakshmi. Sri Shukta actually explains, Alakshmi is actually sister of Lakshmi Devi. She's the elder sister of Lakshmi. She's called Alakshmi. Alakshmi means goddess of misfortunes. So just like the goddess of fortune, goddess of misfortune also brings exactly same thing like Lakshmi brings. She may bring wealth, she may bring progeny, she may bring glory, she may bring name, fame. All these are nothing but, the blessings of Lakshmi Devi. But when Alakshmi brings these things, she brings misery along with it. So although Mother Sita, she is the Lakshmi, she is the goddess of fortune, but she appeared Alakshmi in Sri Lanka. In the kingdom of Ravana, she appeared as Alakshmi, the goddess of misfortunes, because she was not happy. She was not happy because she was separated from Lord Rama. And Prabhupada explained in a similar way that when you separate this Lakshmi from Lord Narayan, then you invite all the misfortunes. But if you engage the Lakshmi in the service of Lord Narayan, then you have all the good fortunes. The Lakshmi will probably never leave you because you are serving Lord Narayan's feet, and Lakshmi always prefers to be seated at the feet of Lord Narayan. So a person who eternally serves the feet of Lord Krishna is never deprived of good fortunes, always has good fortunes. So on this auspicious day, of Mother Sita's appearance day, we can pray to the Sita that bless us with true Lakshmi, the true blessings of her, that we may never be forgetful of the lotus feet of Krishna. We may always keep those lotus feet in our heart, and in that way have the favor of Mother Lakshmi, Mother Sita, eternally in our life. So thank you very much. We'll stop here. Sorry, we went a little over time too.
No, not at all. It's very amazing, Prabhuji. I did not realize the time as well because it's an amazing and beautiful class, and you elaborated very nicely. Yeah. And if you have a few minutes, maybe if any devotees have any questions, comments, or realizations if they want to share, if you have a few minutes.
Sure, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. I have just a quick question for you. Wonderful class, Prabhuji. Always, nice to. So, Prabhuji, the narrations of Narad Muni and Yamaraj, all those, where are these from, Prabhuji? Is from Puranas? This is like...
Yamaraj, there is a Bhagavatam, Mataji. It's in Srimad Bhagavatam.
Okay.
The 7th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam.
Okay. Okay, Prabhuji.
Yeah, Hiranyakashipu instructing, his mother and sister-in-law and telling the story of Yamaraj, and Yamaraj telling the story of Kulinga birth. It's all in Srimad Bhagavatam.
Okay. Thank you.
Very good.
Any other devotees have any questions, comments, realizations would like to share? Looks like no, Prabhuji.
Okay.
Thank you so much, Prabhuji.
Thank you very much, Gilari Prabhu, Shyam Gilari Prabhu, and all the devotees from ISKCON of Sacramento. Please convey my thanks and also obeisances to Devanam Prabhu for
Sure.
giving this opportunity.
Sure, I'll convey. Thank you so much, Prabhuji.
Thank you very much, Prabhu. Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda ki jai. Jai.
Thank you, Prabhu. Nice, wonderful class.